Hello. It's okay.
Okay.
Hi, finally. Okay.
All right. I tried to make a co-host, but accidentally clicked the quick invites and someone joined randomly. Let's
Okay.
try fixing the banner right now and start debating.
Is the banner wrong? For me it looks right.
You should maybe make it smaller. Okay, it's
Okay.
fine now.
It's fine?
It was
Alright.
bad. Yeah.
Okay. Request a discussion about extinctionism with the only justice movement or only social justice movement working to end all suffering, not just reduce it, not just transfer it to other victims. The goal is to abolish all suffering, to abolish every bad experience, to abolish the chance of evolution happening again, to abolish everyone from getting forced into a life of hell that they've never asked for, just to suffer and die pointlessly. What was your question? Life is beautiful, why end it? What do you mean life is beautiful? For you it's beautiful, you can enjoy life. What about those children that are raped in the wild? What about the animals getting torn apart in the wild? What about chicks suffocating, fish suffocating? Look, I hear myself double, you should turn on headphones.
There's an echo, you're saying?
No, not all, is it? Yes, it is. You should turn on headphones.
Well, so for now I'm not able to do the co-host because my battery is dying. I'm not able to join the discussion at the moment. I cannot unplug my charger.
Okay.
So I'm going to maybe watch the live stream for a bit and be in the chat. You can ask any questions in the chat or later in the comments under the video on Pro Extinction Universal YouTube and request a discussion. Any question is very much welcome and you should really progress towards the better for all sentient beings to prevent suffering. There's no other problem in the world. Peace.
Alright, then I'm debating alone in English. You should be proud of being alive. Yeah, extinctionists, the fact that extinctionists are alive is really something good, is really something beneficial for everybody. Because we are the only ones fighting to end it for everybody. To end every bad experience, to end rape, to end starvation. Suffering isn't that deep. What do you even mean? For you it's not that deep. For the children getting raped, it is really deep. It can ruin the whole life. What about animals getting torn apart? They suffer, they have parasitism, right? They starve. That is nature, it is, right? That's the whole point of it. This is nature, this is the design of nature, the cruel design of nature. A lion has to kill a zebra, otherwise it will starve to death. Both outcomes are bad. Zero suffering is the only acceptable outcome. Life usually has positive value. What do you mean usually and what do you mean positive? What's positive about being born into a life of hell that you've never asked for just to maybe have some luck? You cannot end it. Why shouldn't we end all suffering? No animals, no nature, no plants. That's the whole goal. To end every life, to end every form of life, every possibility of life ever coming back. Okay, do we have some requests maybe? No, we do not. Request a discussion, we can talk about suffering. You just can't end being alive and can't end everything. What do you mean we can't end being alive? If I die tomorrow, a truck runs over me, I don't suffer anymore, I'm dead, right? But others will suffer and nobody's We'll be there to help everybody to be free from suffering. Hi.
Hallo, guten Morgen. Ich bin American, du bist Deutsch?
Let's talk in English, please.
Okay. Where in Germany are you from?
Doesn't matter. Let's talk about the top one. Would you press the red button to make all life extinct in the universe?
Yeah, I think when a storm is coming with lightning, you shouldn't go outside. Lightning might strike your piercings, so be careful.
All right, you're really funny. Thank you for your point. So you actually got any form of plan of actually going through with this? Right, of course we have. The plan is to grow the movement until it's possible to force change. We don't need all people, we don't even need a lot of people. We just need enough to cause extinction, and we have to figure it out by the scientific method. We have to figure out the most vast and most thorough extinction. For that we need different people from different fields, and we motivate them with our activism. And when we are enough people, then we will research it and we will cause it with any means necessary to end every bad experience as vast and as thorough as possible. We're not making any false claims. We're not promising a utopia. Okay, in 1,000 years, universe will be nothingness, right? We have to figure out the most vast and most thorough, and we will leave that to the science and to develop that science and to develop that AGI and technology. Yeah, that's why we're here doing activism. We need scientists, and we need you, I don't know, to do activism. Okay, we have four discussion requests. All right, Zion. Hello.
No, you do realize that's literally impossible, right?
What's impossible? Euthanasia is already possible. I go into a forest, I euthanize 10 monkeys, and then they don't suffer anymore. What do you mean it's impossible?
No, that's not what I was referring to. Like forceful extinction of humanity, like euthanasia. You're saying there's 8 billion people on Earth.
Yeah.
Most of them won't agree with this. It's an impossible goal you're reaching.
Okay, read the first word, forceful. We're not gonna ask every oppressor, and it's not about humans only, it's about every sentient life. And it will be forceful, it won't be voluntarily.
You guys want money with this. It's literally impossible.
What do you mean it's impossible? You come up here for 1 minute and just say it's impossible without any claim, it's impossible. Why? Because it's impossible.
Yeah,
what do you mean?
Your goal is useless.
Why is it useless? It will end all suffering.
You're just
Why?
wasting people's time.
Alright.
Yeah, right.
Because Zion Lee is saying it, we're just gonna stop, we're just gonna lean back and watch other people getting raped and getting eaten alive in the wild. Fedel Chris.
Hi.
Hello.
I wanted to ask you, first of all, how would we be I'm not necessarily against what you're saying, but how can we do that? Like,
first of all, what do you mean you're not necessarily against it? Would you press the red button to make all life in the universe vanish? Would you press it?
Sorry?
If I gave you a button and if you press this button, all life in the universe will vanish. Would you press this button?
Yeah.
Okay. That's all about extinctionism, to find a peaceful method to find the most thorough.
I think that's not really possible to completely make go extinct every form of life. Or
it's about as vast and as thorough as possible. It's about optimal. It's about effective. What is the biggest amount of sentient beings we can make free from suffering? We have already made several animal species extinct on our planet without even trying, right? We can create ecological dead zones. We can stop reproducing. We have to just figure out by the scientific method how vast and thorough in the cosmos this will be possible. How vast can we stop evolution from ever coming back? And then we will fight for any means necessary to accomplish this.
Yeah, but some animals or sentient life beings would still survive and reproduce and eventually evolve. Isn't it better that like we invest in technology and trying to make the life of wild animals better? Isn't it?
It's not possible to make lives better for anybody, right? We have made so much technology. Now we have the smartphone. We can discuss, and other people made a platform out of cyberbullying and child pornography, right? technology is also going to be used by bad people. And what do you mean technology? How can we prevent every wild animal from being eaten alive with some sci-fi technology shit? That's not going to work out. And extinction is possible, right? We have to just figure out the best method. Vacuum decay, strange matter, AGI, that's all like real theories and methods we could think about. But this technology, how can you live without suffering? It's not even possible, because you always have needs to desire. You always need to eat food, but you don't always have food. So sometimes you will starve and die. That's just the basic design of our existence.
I mean, like trying to reduce the populations as much as we can handle them, and like
that is our goal,
them
to
a
reduce
better life.
population as much as possible. But you say something about technology and helping. Our goal is to find technology to reduce population, to euthanize as much animals as possible, and to figure out the way of total extinction as much in the cosmos as possible. That's the whole point of it.
Okay.
Reduce technology, reduce population.
Do you support like human extinction? Because
No.
no.
It's not about human extinction. If humans die out first, the animals can't help themselves, right? Unfortunately, we need to reproduce as a necessary evil until we figure out the most vast and most thorough extinction.
Okay, I kinda agree. Thank you for the conversation.
Thank you. Check out our resources on this website up here and join activism. If you recognize this, it's your moral obligation to also fight for it, to fight for these technologies to end all suffering, to reduce population.
Okay, thank you.
Right, bye. First, good discussion evening. So you support China limiting childbirth depopulation agenda? No, not at all. We support as many children as possible. We are 100% pro-natalist. We need as much human children as possible for two reasons. First reason, every child that's gonna get forced into existence, of course they will suffer, but they will also take resources. Probably if I get a child and this child will live, this child supports the deforestation and stuff, right? And that's gonna spare wild animals from being forced into existence, about 100,000 of them. So first of all, we reduce animal suffering, and also we have one more human, we have one more intelligent being that can work rationally to end all suffering. I will join debating after I will charge enough in 10 minutes. That's great, thank you. Big Falkalk, komm hoch, come up and request a debate. I agree with this prompt. That's cool, but it doesn't help anybody, right? It doesn't help if you say, okay, I will press the button. What helps is to go on the site, join our movement, or to even don't join our movement. It doesn't matter, to do activism, right? Start a TikTok page, start an Instagram page, help us with running the website, donate to us, go on the streets and fight for actually achieving this, what you believe in. To achieve animal euthanasia projects, to achieve population reduction, to achieve total extinction for every sentient life. Luna.
Why are you scared to let me in on K2 account? Why are you fucking terrified of me? Yeah, drop me, you piece of shit.
Trolling the whole time. What the hell? Why is he speaking English now? Flaschen Helmut, I will be live in about 40 minutes, or maybe even later, in Pro-Extinction Germany with my German account, doing German live streams. Do you want all of nature to be extinct too? Especially nature. It's not about humans, it's about every sentient life, to help everybody to be free from suffering. So of course nature must go. Nature is a cruel cycle of suffering. If we could develop technology that removes all suffering, would you go with that? We are working to develop technology that removes all suffering. That's total extinction. That's the only technology. Another technology is only in your mind. That's some science fiction bullshit, but it's not possible, right? What do you mean even technology? If you remove like suffering genes, first of all, everything is gonna be broken in your brain and you will suffer from other things. And it's not only about pain, it's about also boredom, it's about being sad, being depressed and stuff like that, right? It's not only one gene and you put it out of your head and then you don't suffer. And if you mean like stuff, upload yourself into a laptop and into a video game or something like that, then right, then you're not sentient anymore. Then you have achieved the same thing as extinction, but it's first of all impossible and second of all meaningless for a robot to play with your mind, right? It's useless. Isn't suffering a human concept, or you're technically imposing your humanistic will on animals? It's not about humanity. It's not about a human concept, right? If there's a planet where only lions and zebras kill each other, this is still bad for them. It doesn't matter if I as a human invent language to say this is bad, it's still bad because they experience it's bad. Suffering is not a human thing, it's just a biological bad experience. A deprivation of desire. Okay. Please request a debate, ask questions, bring your rational arguments if you have any. There are really no arguments against causing total extinction of all life because it's the only thing that ends suffering, but maybe you can think of something, maybe you have rational questions like this guy had that agreed with us. So you plan mass murder, it's not about mass murder, life plans mass murder. Everyone here in this life will be killed by life. Some in a painless way, some in a most 99% of wild animals in a horrible natural death when they're babies. That is mass murder, and we're trying to prevent all of that by causing extinction of every sentient life, that nobody gets forced into the life of hell just to suffer and be murdered by life pointlessly. Why argue with irrational logic? What's irrational about it? Citrus, request a debate. Is there some people you want gone more than others? It's not about what I want, it's not about any misanthropy or like discrimination. I don't like you, I don't like you, I hate humanity, I want to see the world burn. It's not about that, it's about preventing, it's about acting in the victim's interest to be free from suffering. To do what's best for them, to be safe. R. Hello.
Hello.
Do you speak English?
Yes.
Alright, okay. So, do you have any arguments, questions about the premise up there?
Yeah, I have a question. When you succeed in your project and kill everybody, unalive everybody in the planet, how you guarantee that life will not come back again?
Yeah, so we have to figure it out by the scientific method. We're not just about like nuking the Earth or something like that. We have to, it will take thousands, even 100,000 of years. It doesn't matter how long it takes. You have to figure out that life doesn't come back, that evolution doesn't happen again, that there's no water, any trace of life left, so that life doesn't evolve again. Maybe AGI can help with that, right? We have to figure it out with scientific method, and for that we gather people, right, to motivate different people from different fields to help us build these technologies to prevent life from ever coming back. It has to be as vast and as thorough, as optimal as possible, and not just like nuke the Earth or something like that.
You know, I think life and, you know, the small life and the bigger life existence is connected. You cannot have one without the other.
I don't get your point. What do you mean, small life and big life?
I mean that the life, you know, how to say, biological life and life as a totality, as existence. They both always exist together. You cannot have one without the other.
Yeah, the goal is to have no life at all. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, but you know, you cannot have that because nothing.
Why can't I have that?
Because nothingness is not something that exists.
Okay, what do you mean? If I die, I don't suffer anymore, right? That's just nothingness for me.
but life will continue. other people will still exist, or other animals, or other forms.
Yeah, so that's why we don't kill ourselves. That's why we support human reproduction and the necessary technology to develop ways of life never coming back. We can think about something like a vacuum decay, for example. It's a vacuum bubble that gets expanded, and then there's no life and no possibility of life ever coming back. It's just nothingness, right? It's already physical theory, right? If you implement it, that's the other question. But we have theories about it. Nothingness exists. We just have to figure out the best way to do it.
So you think that an existing can exist, like planets, rocks only, and suns, and without any life existing? You think that could happen?
Well, if there's no possibility of life ever coming back, why not? But of course it's better if no matter, no antimatter exists, right? It's just nothingness. That would be the best option. But if some rock exists without sentient life, it doesn't matter.
So you also want to eliminate plants and rocks and everything?
All life and all potential sentience, all suffering, all potential suffering. But if there's only a rock without any possibility of evolution happening, I don't care about them rock, right?
So you don't have problem with the space and time existing, for example?
No, I have problem with sentience existing. It's not about me having a problem, it's about the sentient beings having a problem of existing, right? Because they suffer.
Right, no, I understand that part. You want sentient being to go, but you don't have problem, for example, with space and time. So space and time can exist, but
sure,
you
why
don't
not?
Sentient.
We're not like anti-life, we're anti-suffering, that's what it's about. If there's no suffering, I don't care.
But you know, space and time are alive. Why not them too? Why you exclude
Because
them?
they're not sentient, it's not about alive, it's not about living,
they are
right?
sentient. Space and
Time is sentient, what are you even
Yes.
talking about? How is time sentient? No, that's
Time
just
is
some
super
spiritual... That's some spiritual shit. Time is sentient, space is sentient, a rock is not sentient. The living beings, the beings that suffer on this rock, they are sentient. They are what it's about, right?
Yo, brother, do you think you're alive?
I am alive, yes.
Do you think you are?
I think I am, yeah.
Prove it.
Alright, that's just some non. We are alive, we experience suffering. If I stub my toe will hurt. That's all that's all the proof. If we could remove all suffering without extinction, would it be better? No, because suffering can always come back again. It can develop on other planets, right? It's not about that, right? Suffering is always invented. It's always inevitable in sentience. So if you have extinction of sentience, and as this guy said, when time and space continue, it doesn't matter. Do you prove that we not exist with your username Jesus? What do you even mean? It's some spiritual, philosophical bullshit. Ending suffering is impossible without extinction. That's what it is. Suffering builds character. Yeah, tell that the child that gets raped by his parents, that get raped by pedophiles their whole life and then they will die. Yeah, it builds character. Just think everything will be good. You will be strong, right? You're a pig, you're enslaved in the meat industry, you get tortured your whole life, you get raped, enslaved your whole life, then you will be killed. Yeah, it builds character. You will be a strong pig. What about the people who are willing to suffer in return for the good things in life? They can never force anybody else into this hellhole. That's what they're doing. And also for them, it's better to not exist, to not even have the desire for the good things in life, because the good things will not always happen. Also, the most privileged people, they can just die tomorrow in a horrible way, right? It's just toxic optimism. And you can't be willing to suffer, right? It's not possible to be willing to suffer. Suffer is something you want to avoid. It's an unpleasant experience. How is it fair if 1,000 people of you decide about billions of other lives? Well, it doesn't matter. We're the only ones that actually end suffering, right? If one person says slavery is bad and all other persons that are their oppressors, it's not about the slaves. They, of course they say slavery is bad, and of course the animals, they don't want to suffer, right? But if some oppressors say, okay, this should continue, still slavery should end, and still this one person is gonna fight until they die, until slavery will end. If you say it's impossible, you must prove that claim. Well, we also have desires. If we don't fulfill these desires, we're suffering, right? Sentience without desires is not possible. It's just our biological main construct of the human or of any sentient body, of our brains. Some philosophies believe we can rid ourselves of suffering completely while alive. Yeah, that's just some bullshit. Animals don't can like meditate or something. I don't know even what you mean. If you still say extinctionism after we end all suffering 100%, you want genocide. If we take your stupid mind game and say, okay, we end all suffering without extinction, then why would I even care? It's not about we're anti-life. It's about we're anti-suffering. But your stupid mind game is just impossible. I just prove it to you. I don't want genocide. Genocides, please Google the word genocides. Genocides will happen as long as there's life. And if you say genocide means just killing somebody, life kills everyone, they reproduce, their children will die, they reproduce, the next batch of sentient beings will die. Life is the biggest Holocaust, life is the biggest genocide. Yeah, debate me, come up. King Smiley, alright.
Hi.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm fine, what about you?
What is your list on this? Like, what are you going to do?
Like, do you mean our plan, or what do you mean?
Yeah, what's your plan?
Yeah, we have to grow the movement by activism to motivate people from different fields to figure out by the scientific method what's the most vast and thorough extinction, what's the optimal solution for the victims of forced existence and extreme suffering, and then we have to fight for it and cause it by any means necessary.
But first, let's get to know each other.
What do you mean? We're not gonna talk about our personal life here.
Where are you from? What's your accent? So this sounds interesting.
I'm from Germany.
Oh, you're in Germany right now?
Yeah, I am.
Oh. Which part of Germany? It's so big, you know?
Come, do you have any relevant points, please? Or relevant questions to the topic? It's not about me, it's about the victims of forced existence suffering.
Do you have a family?
Come on. Make me mod. Okay, I will make you mod. So now you're mod, Luke. Haha, you're so funny, Smiley. Thank you. David with a Christian cross. That's gonna be interesting. Hello.
Hello.
We'll speak in English. Is that fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
First question, are you left wing or right wing?
I'm anti-victimization. I'm anti-suffering. That's my politics.
Yeah, I'm an extreme right wing.
Okay. So do you have any relevant point?
Yeah.
Talk.
Regarding the forceful total extinction of all life, I don't really support that. Maybe if it's left-wing extermination, then sure.
Okay. That's just some bullshit. Left-wing extermination. So what you're saying is ending all life ends all suffering, but wouldn't people suffer in extinction? Well, if they suffer a bit, if its extinction is a bit painful, of course we would prefer a painless extinction, but if it's a bit painful, it's just a drop in the ocean, really, compared to what we prevent. We prevent billions and trillions of years of more suffering. And then if you have like 1 year of suffering or even 1,000 years of suffering, but most methods we think about, like every euthanasia method, is less painful than any natural death of even one single insect, right? So that's just mind games again. But even if extinction would be painful, we prevent much more pain, we prevent much more suffering. You wouldn't hurt a fly, look at you. Yeah, we're not about hurting, we're about preventing getting hurt, we're about preventing ending suffering. Why don't you lead by example then? I'm leading by example. I'm one of the first people that leads the extinction movements to end all suffering. Hello.
Hi, why don't you kill yourself then? You make your claim to go extinct, but why don't you kill yourself then? Give me an example why.
Suffering will continue, world will keep spinning, children keep getting raped, animals keep getting torn apart in the night. It will all happen, and it will even happen more, because then there's nobody to help them.
Okay, so you just made a claim that you're not gonna kill yourself because you're trying to do good in the earth, correct?
Because I'm what?
Because you're trying to do good in the earth. Is that why? Because
I want to prevent all suffering, right? And people, animals are dependent on us to end their suffering to help them.
Well, my take on this, you said you're not killing yourself because you want to end suffering, correct? The issue is with living life. When it comes to living life, there exists suffering, but suffering is I'd say it's a ramp. Okay, sometimes you suffer. I'm saying once you kill yourself, once we go all extinct, there won't be suffering because there won't be anybody there to even be suffered, correct? But the issue is, you're up here trying to say, well, I'm not gonna kill myself because I don't want you guys to suffer. I see it a bit of confusing, because in that case, why can't we stay alive then to experience happiness then in that case?
Because it's not only about happiness. If I just told you examples. If I kill myself, animals in the wild, 99% of them die as babies in the most horrible way we can imagine, right? That will all happen. It's not about me suffering. It's not about I'm so sad, I want to kill everybody, I'm so depressed, me. It's not about me. It's about all sentient beings suffering. Also, you can suffer tomorrow, and I want to fight to prevent your suffering. Okay, but the issue is you're limiting all our options to extinction then. We have many other options to rely on, but you're just relying on extinction. Why extinction? Name another option. Prove that we can end suffering without extinction. Okay. I think us ending suffering by extinction I think it's a possibility. Yeah, I mean every choice is a possibility, right? But I'd say it's not effective. It's not effective with other possibilities. So I think ending suffering can be possible. It might exist some suffering, but the issue, I think we can pay that back with happiness. So maybe maybe yes. Yeah, I'm saying if your goal is to end all suffering, no suffering, it's a bit ineffective. I mean, yeah, it might end suffering, but I believe suffering can exist, or it morally can exist if we can pay it back with happiness in the world, for example. So basically what you're saying is because you were born lucky, you were born on a privileged, white, probably rich human, right? You're born as a human basically, right? So you have the privilege to have happiness, to have pleasure at the cost of others getting raped, of the cost of children being molested to death, animals being torn apart, animals starving to death, so you can be happy. But if you would be in the position of them suffering, you wouldn't care about some people getting an ice cream or something like that. And even you wouldn't be sad because you don't have your happiness when you don't even exist. You would just be peace. You have no needs to fulfill, no desires. Yeah, because there won't be a me when I'm dead. That's the whole point of it. That's the whole point of it. But you will die anyways, and then you reproduce and you force others to have the same hell as other people, right? And also you still continue animals to live, right? And no pleasure can justify that. No pleasure can justify childhood, right? Okay. Look, the issue is another issue you're making here is that first of all, as someone I'm guessing, and this might be a bit off topic, right? But I'm guessing, like, for example, when we look at suffering, are you referring to suffering of animals or like what's the most important for you? all sentient life. But if you talk about important, of course, for example, if we take animals or humans, animals are more important because they suffer more in quality and quantity. If we take aliens into the consideration, of course, aliens are the most important, but no one should suffer. We have a zero tolerance policy on suffering, and no one should suffer. No human, no ant, no insect, no extraterrestrial life, no one should ever suffer. And the only solution to achieve this is by total extinction of sentience.
I understand. Okay. But another issue that comes up here is that when we say, okay, well, all sentient beings should not be inevitably suffering, I still have, the issue is we're working with some value system. This value system, I'd say it's it lacks rational ground, okay? So I have my value system. My value system is I believe happiness can repay for this and the suffering. Your value system is that
so rape is totally okay. Rape is totally okay because the rapist is happy.
I believe rape is wrong, but I believe we should not go extinct because of rape. Rape is inherently wrong.
Why?
It's inherently wrong because it corrupts a rational order of society.
It's not wrong because the victims suffer. It's just wrong because of some construct you made.
It's wrong because of rational construct. I believe suffering itself is suffering itself can be wrong, but it's like I don't believe all suffering is wrong. I disagree with that. I believe only some suffering is wrong.
Not all suffering is wrong. If you cause suffering to cause extinction, the suffering is not wrong, but suffering is always bad because it's always experienced as bad, right? And rape is only bad because the victims experience it as bad because they don't want it, because they're suffering from it. And also, if I take a lion that starves, it's only bad because it causes suffering, because the lion doesn't have anything to eat. If I get raped and I say, okay, I like this rape, then it's not bad, right? What do you mean?
I put inherent value in humans. I think humans are more inherently valuable.
Yeah, that's just dogmatic bullshit. It's speciesist bullshit, right? That was the final point. You said, okay, humans are more important than lions because they're humans. White people are more important than black people because they're white. Male are more important than females because they're male. What do you mean? It's just inherently, right? That's just some discriminatory shit. Okay, we have Piasma. Oh, all right.
What's up?
Hello. Hi, I'm decent. What about you?
Doing well, brother. Yeah, so I disagree. I think the autonomy and the ability to consent through life is something that supervedes over suffering. So
I don't understand you. Sorry. What did you say?
Yeah, I think autonomy over persons is more important than suffering. I think suffering supervenes onto autonomy. I think there's cases in which, like, mass extinction violates the autonomy of other individuals and the self-governance, and that's something that's evil.
Okay. Yeah. But life has infinitely more consent violations, right? First of all, you don't consent to your birth, you don't consent to your death. Most of people will suffer, they don't consent to death, they don't consent to rape, they don't consent to getting starved or getting eaten alive in the wild. If you talk about bodily autonomy, we still prevent infinite bodily autonomy violations when you make all life extinct. It's just the ends justify the means. Consequentialism.
Here's the problem. First of all, you're presupposing some consequentialist view that needs further argumentation. And then second of all, you don't consent to biological processes like being birthed and dying. Those aren't things you can't even consent to. To say that I don't consent to this, therefore the action is justified, would be a categorical error. So do you have an argument for consequentialist reasoning?
Well, if you say rape is, or if you say murder is wrong, the first thing you should do is to murder Hitler. Otherwise, you're responsible for even more murder, right?
So, okay, murder is analytically wrong. It's true by definition that it's wrong, right? I addressed a point that we need further argumentation on the consequentialist reasoning that you're using.
Yeah, I just told you. If you want to prevent something that's wrong, you should do that what prevents the most to prevent the most wrong. Otherwise, you're causing the other ones, the more wrong by letting it happen. There's no difference between letting it happen and causing it. If you say rape is wrong and then you don't cause extinction, you're letting rape happen. You're letting infinite more rape happen. That makes you the perpetrator.
I don't think you understand the type of objection because you're just using what's in contention to justify your position. I'm putting into contention your normative theory.
What do you mean? I don't understand your English philosophical words. I'm sorry, can you?
Okay, do you know what a normative theory is?
No, I do not.
do you understand, like, have you read contemporary philosophy? Like, you're German, yeah?
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
all about facts. Extinctionism is all about objective facts. Suffering is wrong, suffering is inevitable, we must end it. We can also say consent violations is wrong and still extinction is the solution because we prevent more consent violations. What do you mean?
Listen, so that idea is what is in contention. Why would I ever justify, like, why would I let you get away with it?
No.
Why would,
No.
let me,
No. Contention, some weird philosophical words that lead to nowhere, it's just some bullshit, but yeah, if you say rape is wrong, you should end all rape and not cause it because it's a consent violation to euthanize somebody, but then he just says if they get euthanized by life, it doesn't matter, it's what did you say, false dichotomy or something, some bullshit, right? But that's just common logic. If you get killed by life, you don't consent to it either.
Hallo, hallo?
Hallo. Hi.
Können wir auf Deutsch reden oder muss es auf Englisch sein?
Ich gehe in ungefähr 20 Minuten auf Deutsch live auf meinem Account René Horn, dann können wir auf Deutsch reden, okay?
Jawohl.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Yeah. If you're interested, I will do a German live stream and maybe it's at 9, maybe, I guess, and then you can debate in German. Okay, we have depressed clown here.
Hello, how are you going?
Hi, I'm pretty good. So what about you?
Yeah, I'm going well, thank you.
Nice. So, do you have arguments, questions?
I think it's kind of I think it's a bit silly to say that, oh, we should end all suffering by making things not exist, but things that don't exist don't get to enjoy no suffering. They just don't exist.
Yeah, but it's just a preferable state because the other one would be extreme suffering and also they don't miss anything, right? They don't experience anything, but it's safety from suffering. For example, if you know that your child is gonna have a disease, it will have cancer and then it will die, you're not saying, hey, I should just bring my child into existence so that they can experience that they suffer, right? You just have to prevent them from suffering in the first place because they wouldn't miss anything. They're in a piece of total total safety and they don't need anything, right?
Why don't you just kill yourself right now?
Because other people and other animals will still suffer, and if I kill myself, the world keeps spinning.
Well, what do you care about other people?
What do you mean? What do you care about other people? Other people suffer too. You're just
Why do you care about other people?
Pathetic modern. Okay. Why do you care about other people? No, we should just care about ourselves. As long as we are fine, other people should get raped, they should starve, they should die. It doesn't matter. I only care about myself. No, we have had Jane. No, Jane, please don't. Okay. Maxwell B. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
So I'm outside. Hopefully my audio is good. So I have a question. First and foremost, it's about extinction. But before that, I just want to ask you: do you practice veganism?
No, I do not. Because veganism just transfers suffering. If I'm vegan, I will let wild animals suffer. If I practice non-veganisms, I will make farm animals suffer. Both is bad, both should end. It's not about our personal choices.
Okay, so no, I'm just like, I don't want to say that you eat animals, you make them. No, I'm just asking like you eat.
I don't eat animals. I'm just not practicing veganism. That's what you've asked. I don't eat animals, I don't eat milk, but it's not about what I eat, what I don't eat. I don't practice the vegan ethical stance that humans should live without exploiting animals. It's the, I say, or we say that nobody should exist and nobody should be exploited or suffer or anything, right?
Interesting, but do you know the reason why I ask you this, if you eat animal products? It's because I know maybe you're gonna get mad about this, but diet and nutrition has a heavy influence on the way we think. Would you agree?
No, it doesn't. No. What do
Okay.
you mean?
No, I'm just in my opinion. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you about extinction now.
Okay.
I do agree that many people are suffering, not only people, but the extension of people, like animals, for example. I do agree. I'm not stupid. The world is not Disney.
Yeah.
It's actually, if you just
They're suffering. Yeah. What's your conclusion about this?
my question for you is, I feel like there has to be some people that enjoy and some people that suffer in this life.
So for you to enjoy, others can get raped, others can get eaten alive, so just you can enjoy. For what reason? What is the purpose of that? Right? You will die, you will not enjoy anything again, and then you force other people to get raped and to starve, basically. Just because you're privileged. You let others die and suffer.
I do agree, but ultimately you're trying to rationalize and apply morality towards this havoc, which is nature. Nature is havoc.
What's havoc?
Havoc means chaos
Okay.
in and of itself. So
yeah, nature is cruel. Yeah,
it is cruel, and I mean, I personally had this awakening that life is pretty shitty sometimes, but.
So why do you try to justify it with your pleasure? Why do you justify this cruel nature that a lion has to kill a zebra, otherwise it will starve?
Because I don't want to be the martyr for someone else's pleasure, because it's always going to be this way in this life.
What do you mean martyr?
For example, many people, not you, but many people have pushed this idea that I have to become vegan, for example, to care for the animals, right? Because, I have to stand up for them. But
you're not helping any animals by being vegan. You're just helping some animals, and then you let wild animals suffer.
Yeah, but for example, like just how they rationalize it. Yes, if I don't eat meat, for example, I'm sparing this cow's life. Yes, I'm making some sort of effort. But it's not gonna. The person who's gonna suffer is me. I'm gonna suffer.
Yeah, and wild animals are gonna suffer too. It's about them mostly, because when you're vegan, you let nature grow. You support forestation, not deforestation, but forestation when you're vegan, because you eat plants, right? And they give you lots more calories and lot more protein for like way less land. So basically, this land that you're not use anymore, that will just get back to nature, and then the chaos in nature will just continue.
What do you propose? I've seen a lot of your videos. What do you propose the action will be like?
What do I propose? Total extinction. What do you mean?
How would you go about doing this? Like, concretely speaking, like
I've explained this like 1,000 times in this live stream, but okay. We have to determine the most vast and most thorough extinction, right? We have to determine it by the scientific method. We need different people from different fields of technology and science, and we're going to motivate them with doing activism by growing the movement. And when we're enough, we're going to fight for it with any means necessary. AGI is going to play a huge role in it also, and then we're going to fight for it with any means necessary to prevent all suffering and to cause the best extinction, the optimal extinction for every sentient life.
But yeah. Okay, I get it. Okay.
Okay, bye. Jane, are you sure we have never talked?
We talked the other day, and you kicked me for being yeah.
I think that's a good reason. I remember you. Some troll. Okay. JS Secrets. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. All right, I have some questions.
Yeah.
So, forceful total extinction is the only right thing to do because it ends all suffering, right? That's your claim? That's your... Okay, so why is it a good thing?
Because it ends all suffering.
Okay,
It's in the claim.
why is suffering bad?
because it's biologically experienced as an unpleasant experience by the victims experiencing it. It's just such a stupid question. If you see rape, you don't ask why suffering is bad.
Okay.
Of course rape is bad, because rape is bad.
So suffering is, so your justification is suffering. Suffering is bad because people experience it. Why does that mean it's bad?
Because people experience it as bad, right?
So
you don't want to suffer, so
why does it matter?
nobody
Why
should
does it matter what
want to
people
suffer.
experience? Why does
What else does matter? If I torture you, the only thing that matters is that you don't want to get tortured. What do you even mean?
Well, hold on. What people want doesn't necessarily determine morality. Explain to me, justify why suffering is a bad thing.
Okay, and just do it if you're too stupid to understand. I can't help. I agree with the caller. Why is it bad? Why is torture bad? What do you even mean? Torture is bad because the ones getting tortured don't want to get tortured. That's the only thing about it. It's so easy. Why is suffering bad? It's the only bad thing. You can't name anything that's bad without that doesn't include suffering. Okay, we have B. Hello.
How's it going?
Pretty good. What about you?
Yeah, not too bad. I'm glad you're not currently suffering. That's good. I want to do sort of an internal critique with you about what you think is the solution here. So I heard you saying that the thesis would be, you know, use a scientific method, get lots of very smart, very talented people on board, so that we can kind of achieve mass extinction in the best way possible.
Total extinction, not mass extinction. Mass extinction have happened, life comes back. Yeah.
I appreciate that clarification. I think that's actually a very reasonable one. So that would, because you don't discriminate obviously between like human suffering and animal suffering, and I think that's very appropriate. And so
alien suffering too.
Perfect.
Extraterrestrial life should suffer too.
Perfect. Do you think it's possible then that if we can advance scientifically enough that we can become interstellar, right? We can traverse the universe like hundreds of thousands, millions of light years, to the degree that we can literally encapsulate all possible sentient life in the universe.
I don't make any. Can I answer? I don't make any false claims. I will not say we can make this much in the universe extinct. I cannot make false claims, especially not about the future. I can make the claim that we have to figure out the most vast and most thorough extinction. Extinction will happen to 100% because society keeps moving towards rationality and ethics. And when those meet, extinction will happen. Someone is gonna do it, and someone is gonna extinct as much life as possible. It's about optimal. It's about being as effective as possible. I cannot promise you that on day X we can extinct all life in the universe. But I can say we have to do the most optimal thing, right? Maybe it's just the Earth. Maybe it's just our solar system. Right. Maybe life will come back in 100,000 years. I don't know. We have to figure out the most vast and thorough extinction. I'm not making any false claims. I'm not like vegans saying, yeah, in 2,000 years all will be vegan. It's total bullshit. I cannot predict the future.
I agree with you. I agree. I think that's very reasonable. I really appreciate that. I appreciate the clarification. Do you then think it's possible? I'm just saying, like, yeah, we don't know what the future holds. I totally agree. I think it's very reasonable for you to say that we don't know. We're just going to try and go for the most optimal. Do you think it's reasonable, though, to suggest that it's possible as we continue to advance scientifically and technologically, that it's possible that we get to a place where we actually don't need to pull the trigger and extinct everything, when we can potentially pull another trigger and minimize or totally eradicate suffering? Is that possible?
It's not possible to eradicate suffering without eradicating sentience. We always have desires we need to fulfill, and if we don't fulfill these desires, we're suffering, right? For example, there was a case, there was this girl, and she doesn't have pain receptors in her brain, so she can touch a hot heat place, and then her hand will burn, and she doesn't feel it, but then she scratches out her eye, and then she's blind, and then she will suffer from that. So it's not possible. Also, if you invent technology, and you have technology and you can make people suffer less, right? Some people use it and make other people suffer more because they like the way they scream or something like that. We have never reduced suffering. We have never even done anything good for anybody. We just transferred from one victim to another. First we enslaved humans, now we enslave animals, right? It's not possible. But if you say, if is extinction possible in the future, we can start with extinction today, right? We can create ecological dead zones. We can study ecosystems. Then humans stop reproducing. If necessary, we'll go to a war with them, right? We have the technology to extinct all life on Earth right now, but we just have to figure out what's the most effective way to do it. What's the most vast and thorough extinction? Can we reach far beyond the universe? Can we not? Yeah, and that's why we have to go the movement.
I want to say very quickly, I agree with you fully that our human story has been one where exploitation has played a big role. Like you said, there used to be slavery, and now, we're sort of essentially enslaving animals. I will say that in the past we enslaved humans and animals. Do you reject the idea that there's been any progress in sort of well-being generally within our history? Do you reject that outright?
Yes, because okay, let's say we're all vegan now, we end animal slavery, then animals will suffer in the wilds, right? And nobody cares about them. Now nobody cares about animals in farm. When the world is vegan, no one will care about animals in the wild, right? We just transfer to victims we don't care about. Or for example, we solve starvation, we say, yes, okay, happy, we solve starvation. Now so many people are obese, they suffer from obesity, they suffer from stress, they suffer from depression, burnout, right? Nobody cares about it.
Fair enough. But do you view all suffering as equal? Like, so for example, me suffering because I didn't get a pay raise in my high earning job, and I really want that pay raise. Is that equal to somebody, suffering through? I think you mentioned grape a couple of times. Obviously, that's a horrific example. Would you say those two things are equal? Is there a distinguishing in your mind between different types of suffering?
Yeah, there's a distinguishment. Of course, maybe you can suffer you can have a so big pain that you don't get your pay word relief, but probably you won't suffer as much as someone getting tortured. If I stub my toe, I'm gonna suffer for 5 minutes or maybe even 2 days. I don't know. But if other wild animals getting eaten alive the whole day, the whole life, they run away from predators, they starve, they have parasites. Of course, that's way worse than me suffering from my stubbed toe.
Right. So do you not think it's possible that we can achieve a future where we haven't eradicated suffering completely, but where suffering is so minimal, it's the equivalent of, like you say, me just not getting what I want immediately, and there needs to be a process. Is that not better potentially than like mass optimized total extinction? Do you not think?
No, not possible. We can maybe reduce some suffering. Maybe we could do that, yeah, but we cannot eliminate or even reduce extreme suffering, right? Because there will always be sadists. We can't stop sadists with any politics, with left wing, right wing, with communism, anarchism. We can't stop sadists from raping children. That's not possible, because there always will be sadists that want to rape children. There always will be natural catastrophes. It doesn't matter how good our technologies are. There will always be wars because there are some politicians don't liking other politicians. This will always happen, and this is extreme suffering, and we can never bring this down to zero or even reduce it, right? It's just it's a utopia, but it's impossible.
Maybe.
It's impossible. Even if we have the best cars, still 1 in 100 will crash, or 1 in 100,000. It doesn't matter, right? There will still be accidents, and they will suffer, the ones.
I agree, but let me just address the 2 points you made. I think they're interesting with regards to like psychopaths or sadists. Ultimately, like, I am who I am and you are who you are because of our brain chemistry, and there's really not much we can do about that. And a psychopath, similarly, they just fundamentally have something wrong with their brains. If we were able to develop technology, and I think we're actually very close to it, like right now, if we're able to develop technology, we can create a pill that a psychopath can take, and it just develops the empathy receptors in their brains, making them absolutely not want to harm anybody in order to themselves experience pleasure. That would potentially resolve that specific example, right? I mean, maybe that's absurd. Maybe that's not possible.
It's really absurd, yeah.
Maybe it's not possible to alter brain chemistry. I mean, we can do genetic modification right now on embryos to predict like features, what they look like, how tall they are. I don't think it's that crazy to suggest we might be able to have an influence on like healthy brain chemistry. But regardless, what I'm trying to say potentially is that, like, I think your goal, and I understand where it's coming from, and I have a lot of sympathy 100% to what you're saying, and I fully agree with you. Suffering is outrageous. It should be something that we try as best we can to do something about and diminish. But it seems to me that the amount of technology necessary to achieve what you want to achieve could possibly be the same technology that gives us a world where suffering is so incredibly... I don't think suffering is ever going to be completely mute, zero, but where it's so incredibly reduced that extinction becomes the terrible thing. Do you know what I
Why
mean?
is a terrible thing? It's always easier and better to prevent suffering than to cure it and cure it and cure it, and new wounds will come up and you still have to cure them and cure them, right? It's always easier. In non-existence, there's total peace. Even if you have your technological optimism and stuff, there will always be some suffering. There will always be some child getting raped, and it's not about reducing it from thousands to zero to 10. It's about reducing it to zero so that no one is raped. And in non-existence, it's not like a terrible state. No one is deprived of anything. It's just 100% peace and safety. And as I told you, we cannot reduce suffering. I gave you 100 examples. Technology, okay, we have that. We can make some sadists not sadists, okay, but some people give that pill to sadists to become them to get them more sadistic, right? Because technology is always going to be used by good people and by bad people.
Yeah, I mean, look, potentially. I think I have a frankly endlessly optimistic view of human
but it doesn't gonna help anybody.
I think. Look, I totally. I don't want to be this kind of head in the clouds person. I think you're absolutely right. There is an abundant amount of suffering that exists in the world. I don't think there's any denying that. But I think the human experiment so far has been us pushing towards something better. Not 100% better. Not better for everyone all at once. But clearly, I would never want to get in a time. I don't know about you, but I would never want to get in a time machine and go back 200 years and try my luck. It clearly is better to be alive right now than it was 200 years ago. And I'm
but if you were an animal, you would not suffer. If you were a pig, for example, you would suffer less 100 years ago. You would not be cramped up with other pigs in a gas chamber, for example, right? You're only talking about humans right now. But as I told you, some will suffer less. Of course, I agree with you that maybe humanity has become better. But right now, you could also suffer from obesity. You can have accidents, you can have car crashes, you can have biological wars, you can be child rape in the internet. The internet is the technology we invent. We can have our fun talking on TikTok, watching TikTok all the day, but other people use it as a platform for distributing child sexual abuse material. So every technology, it doesn't really solve suffering. I think
you're right. I just want to make a very final point, but I think you yourself are evidence for something positive, and I'll explain what I mean. Like, you yourself are an indication of a consciousness around how bad suffering is. And even with animals, there is clearly, as I'm sure you'd agree, a consciousness around the fact that we need to eradicate animal suffering, that animals should be treated like we were treated. That was not a consciousness that existed many hundreds of years ago. Animals were seen as sort of, underneath us, a different species.
I agree.
And so clearly everything is pointing towards the right direction. It doesn't mean there's a solution right now. But it could mean that there are solutions in the future that not eradicate, totally agree with you, but significantly reduce suffering to the point where mass extinction or total extinction, I think, becomes the worst option potentially.
So is it okay if one child is raped only? We have your optimism and one child is raped. Is that okay?
Not okay. Not okay at all.
Not okay. So we should prevent this, even one child getting raped or even one ant getting eaten alive. We should prevent that. So we shouldn't make your optimism stuff that we can somehow make it better that only one child is raped. I can even agree, okay, we can make this technology that we only one child getting raped, but it's still one more than acceptable because only 0 is acceptable. And you would even agree with that, right?
I would agree with that. But
I would also agree with that humans move towards ethics and move towards rationality. But when those meet, extinction is the solution. Of course, we have given more moral consideration to animals, but going vegan doesn't help anybody. It gives them to wild animals, and then they will suffer, right? But again,
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Look, I mean, it doesn't get, it gets hard, and there's lots of things we have to do in order to completely eradicate suffering or minimize it to the point where it's not a problem. But I agree with you. One child suffering something as horrific as grape is unacceptable. I don't think the solution to that should be the total extinction of all life. I guarantee you, if you ask anybody, would you rather be raped and then murdered? They'd be like, no, I would not rather be raped and then.
Yeah, but they will be murdered by life, right? They will be murdered by life.
But there are, again, and I think you agreed, there are distinctions to suffering. There's a way of passing away that's much less horrific than others. Being like brutally murdered or whatever, I don't want your life to go, whatever, is not the same as passing away peacefully in your sleep, surrounded by family who love you. These are very different experiences.
I will ask you one question. Do you think we can ever stop even that no children it's getting raped and then they will be abused to death, right? Do you think this is always be there in life, or do you think it's it will be 0 sometimes, right? Because these cases are there, that people get abused to death, they will have a horrible death, and they will die, and then they will reproduce, and their children or other children are gonna get raped again. Today also, we don't talk about nature even at all, right? In nature, animals get raped frequently, right? So that's just some nonsense.
So I mean, I'll give you an example. I think it's a great question. I'll give you an example. It used to be the case in our history that it was actually quite common for women to be accused of being witches and then burnt alive. Do we have any examples of that today? I don't believe, maybe you can find me an example of that, but it's significantly less common. And clearly we're working towards the eradication of that. And so if principally we can eradicate examples of just horrific, unnecessary abuse and violence and suffering, like women being, burnt alive, then I think in principle we can do the same for any example you can give me of like children being hurt, children being, whatever else. I think in principle, yes, we can eradicate that behavior.
But we just, women were burnt alive and now we torture animals and gas them to death. Can you name me an example where that was 200 years ago? We just transferred from one victim to another, and your optimism is not gonna help anybody. But it was a nice talk to you. Okay, Ibi. Okay, maybe one more request and then I'm gonna take a break and then we'll go live in German. Hello.
Hello. What's up? I just had an idea. Oh, you hear the background music?
Yeah, I do. But it's fine. Okay, talk. No, okay. Talk.
I just had an idea from the other guy, because maybe we can extinct all animals, just friendly, like sterilize them so they can't reproduce, so there are no more animals, and then we focus on giving all humans good morals, so we don't do the raping and killing and shit, and so we don't have the... How you know this? How do you know this?
Okay, first of all, we can't make all animals extinct and have all humans alive, because humans are dependent on animals. We need bees to pollinate us. Some animals are gonna survive if we make them all extinct.
Flowers. We can maybe pollinate flowers with robot technology in like 100 years.
Still, some animals are gonna escape, they will suffer. Also, humans will suffer. Also, if you give everyone the pill and they have good morals, still a natural catastrophe can happen. Still, they can get cancer as babies. That's just some nonsense.
No, I think it's pretty possible. I think that's the best option we have at this point. If we want to...
technological optimism is not possible. It's just some nonsense. What do you even mean? We can give everyone good morals and all will be fine. We'll just kill all the animals. We just give them a magic wand and they won't reproduce anymore. We'll reach everybody and they will not reproduce anymore, right? And humans, they have good morals. Natural catastrophes, they will never happen again. Diseases, they will never happen again. Wars, they will never happen again. Because everybody's gonna have good morals. There was not a single ideology, not a single moral stuff that's 100% of the population agreed on. Like, if 80% say, okay, murder is wrong, still 20% today say murder is good, right? Okay, we say woman needs rights, black needs rights. Still, there are people that say, okay, they don't need rights. There was never gonna be everyone to be convinced of the same ideology. Okay, I will go live at 21 at 9 p.m. Germany time, like in 16 minutes on the German live stream on René Horn at sufferingabolition.de. Yeah, some Germans were watching this. I know you can request a debate in 15 minutes.